What's up, guys? I am the best straight edge YouTuber in the world, and today we're gonna talk about the best Marvel movie ever, Endgame. I'm giving my review, and let's get to it right now, all you Marvel nerds and fans. Bang! So, today we're going to talk about Endgame, and let me say, breathe it in, man! Jericho would say. So, all I'm going to say is, best Marvel movie ever! Okay, so the first hour we get into what happened in Infinity War. We find out Captain Marvel comes in. So watch Captain Marvel and you'll find out at the end what happens before Endgame happens. And so she comes in, she says, "Where's Thanos?" She wants to kill him. And then all of a sudden they all go to where Thanos is at. They find his location. And then they go there. And then Thor's like, "I'm gonna take off with his head," which is it's so hilarious. He said, "I aim for the head," and you see Thanos' head, it's like bloody, gory. It's cut off by Thor himself, so he's the one that kills Thanos. And I was just like, yeah. It was shocking. Captain Marvel also helped out to take down Thanos too. And Thanos didn't really want to fight back. I guess he just basically wanted to die. And then we got 5 years after. Then we got that. But let me talk about the beginning of the movie too. Also, what I wanted to talk about is when Hawkeye, he starts out with his family, and all of a sudden everybody goes to ashes, which is very sad. And then we go back to the movie, which is the first hour. Then we go after 5 years later. Everybody's scattered everywhere. Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. But Hawkeye is not what's cool. He's not called Hawkeye. His name is Ronin. He's like this cool ninja. He's like, and then when they find him, it's awesome because he freaking has these sword fights. They're epic. And then he just sits there and kills people and all these Japanese people. And then Black Widow finds him. And then they go find everybody else. And they go find Tony. And Tony has a kid, which she might be a next Iron Man. I don't know. And then we see his wife, and then we see the whole gang, and then we see Steve Rogers, which he was like in the AA meeting, or I don't know, some kind of AA meeting, I believe. And then he comes in, Black Widow, they discuss. And they're trying to, they try to do something to go back in time to change it. And then they go in and they talk to Tony. And then Tony figures out time travel, which is really cool. And so they wanted to go get the Infinity Stones. And yeah, they basically find Ant-Man. Ant-Man, if you watch Ant-Man, he comes back. You have to watch the end of Ant-Man to find out how he comes back. So he comes back. He does the test for time traveling, and we see the Hulk. And then another funny scene is where they take the tacos, where he's eating them, Ant-Man, and all of a sudden he's like, the airship comes, and all of a sudden his tacos are gone, and then Hulk's like, "Here you go, you can have mine." And then we get back, and they go back in the time, And so they figure out time travel. Ant-Man tries, and he goes in these little kid, and then he becomes an old man, and all this. And then they finally all go into time travel, which is the second hour of the movie. They go back in time to get Infinity Stones. A real sad part in that movie is when Tony Stark meets his dad. Oh my gosh, for the first time. It was sad. And then we see Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, meets the love of his life, which he sees her through a window, and yeah, it's pretty sad too. And then they all get the Infinity Stones they need, and then we see this cool fight: Captain America versus another Avengers. I don't know if it's Age of Ultron, but maybe the first Avengers movie. We see Cap versus Cap. That was a awesome fight because there's an Infinity Stone that Cap had, the other Cap, and so they fought and fought and fought, which is pretty freaking sick. Well, I'd say awesome. And then they get the Infinity Stone somehow, and then we find out Thor also years later is fat. And it's funny because he's playing Fortnite, he's trolling little kids, and he's eating chicken wings. It's pretty funny. And then he goes back in time travel and he sees his mom, which is sad too because Thor's mom died, if you guys didn't know. If you watched all the Avengers movies, you would know, or the Thor movies, you would know. And yeah, the Thor movies. And so he sees her, and then she knew it was him from the future. And after that, they find the Infinity Stone they need. And then the sad part I did not see coming is this one Infinity Stone that if you guys seen Infinity War, you have to make a sacrifice. And yeah, so Hawkeye and Black Widow go over this mountain, and Hawkeye said it should be me, and so he jumps, and then Black Widow jumps, and then things don't go good, and then Black Widow says it has to be her. And it was sad because you can't be brought back. Basically, you're dead, and you have to trade your soul or your life for an Infinity Stone. And so Hawkeye survived, which he's Hawkeye again, and he gets the stone, and they all come back. But we see the Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy. I believe the second movie at the end of the credits you see, or before then, the strong Thanos, man. This guy's got like a two-bladed sword. It's like Darth Maul, man. Like, yeah. And thanks for the Star Wars things, Marvel. So he comes in and he finds out one of his daughters, which she's alive. She's one of the robots. Forget her name, but she gives away their location of where they are in the after 5 years, where they're at now in the movie. And so he, when they come back, when they get all the Infinity Stones, he comes back from that timeline and comes into the present timeline. And yeah, don't go good well, because the Thanos, this one is really strong, has a two-bladed sword, and he is just bad to the bones. And so he comes with his evil robot daughter, and he shoots the building where they're at when they come back from the timeline. And it's sad because Hawkeye said, they're not coming back. Black Widow's not coming back, and they're real sad. And all of a sudden, boom! He shoots up the building where the Avengers are at, and the place collapses. And then all of a sudden, like, everybody's looking where they are. Rocket, he got trapped, man. And then all of a sudden, Ronan, he it's actually Hawkeye, but he he was trapped too, but he had to get the gauntlet that they made for they made a new gauntlet they're gonna use, Infinity Gauntlet, and then they run and they try to get out and escape, and which they happily do, and then they find somewhere else to go, and all of a sudden Thanos, yeah, the big bad one with armor, comes after them. Oh, we get a war, man. This comes in the third final hour of the movie, because the movie's like 3 hours and something minutes long. And dude, it was epic. Like, all of a sudden they have this clash of the big titans or something, like Lord of the Rings, like everybody from the past comes back. We get Spider-Man, we get Black Panther, we get everybody that died that comes back to life, guys. Those questions were answered. We get Spider-Man, he comes back, he has a heart moment with Tony, and then, man, it's awesome. So they go in this big clash war, and then we see freaking Captain America using Thor's freaking hammer, which is what? And then they're using that and they're fighting, and then Thanos throws his sword, it just like spins around like Darth Maul's lightsaber from the Phantom Menace, and it just goes, and then, man, that Thanos beat the mess out of Captain America, and Captain America fought, and all of a sudden Iron Man comes in, my boy, my favorite, Tony comes in, he uses all what he could use, and all of a sudden Thor comes in, they fight, and then they all get knocked out, and all of a sudden girls fight, which is amazing. We get Tony Stark's wife fighting, and we get everybody else in there. They're fighting. Drax came back, guys. He fought, like, and then the whole army finally like clashes, and it's just goes on in the third hour. It's so epic. And then at the final end of this movie, it comes in the third hour, they get finally, Captain Marvel comes in, destroys that ship of Thanos, and then all of a sudden they get the Infinity Gauntlet, and then they get Thanos the other one, because he gets a hold of it, the new one, and it looks like Iron Man's gauntlet, and he grabs it, the Infinity Gauntlet, and then everybody grabs Thanos, and then Spider-Man comes in and takes the gauntlet off, and then all of a sudden Thanos thinks he's got it, and he's going to snap his fingers again, and all of a sudden Tony says, I am, the most epic line in the movie, I am Iron Man. Snap! And the Infinity Gauntlet, he has it. He looks so cool. My favorite Marvel character ever. Iron Man just snaps his fingers and says, I am Iron Man, and then boom, everybody just perishes, and Thanos is just like sitting on the ground, just like he knows he's gonna die, and so his whole army dies, and they go into ashes. And the sad part is, Iron Man got beat up so bad, but after using the gauntlet, I started crying, guys. I've seen this movie twice, and I just bawled, guys, because him dying just, it was terrible. But in the movie, it was all about Tony Stark. It led up all the way from the movies to his death, and it was really sad, and he went out dying as a hero. He saved the world. But Doctor Strange said this in Infinity War, that probably 50% that Iron Man, Tony Stark, aka, would have to save the world. If you guys go back and watch that, he says that to him, and it had to be him, and Iron Man dies, and it's sad, but he saved the world. And then they have his funeral at the end of the movie. Everybody's there. It's just really sad. And his daughter's there, and his wife, and they put him in a casket, and he's rolling in the lake, and it's real sad. And also, and you know, we lost Black Widow and Tony Stark, my favorite Iron Man. And at the end of the movie, Steve Rogers goes back in the timeline to, I don't know if he's gonna go save Tony, but really you don't want to, because if you change the timeline, things can mess up, and that's what Doctor Strange was saying in Infinity War 2. So he went back in the time, but he went back in time to see the love of his life. And then when he comes out, Steve Rogers is married, he's old, and he gives up the Captain America shield to one of his friends. I think it's Falcon. I think it's that. I'm not sure, but he gives the torch to him, and basically he lives old days married to the love of his life. And then that's the end of the movie, man. And then they show credits, and when they show Iron Man and Tony Stark, Robbie Downey Jr. We loved you as Iron Man, and thank you for this movie, and thank you, Marvel. So I give this movie, guys, 10 out of 10. Like, it was really, really good. I saw it the second time, and I saw everything, and best Marvel movie ever, man. So guys, I hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up for likes, and hit that subscribe button. And let me say, Marvel Endgame rocked. So guys, have a good one. Take care. God bless.